Hi, my name is Andrew Rogue and I'm with Cross-Side Photography. Tomorrow we're preparing for a big wedding day shoot. So I'm packing up my gear and I thought while I'm packing up my gear I could explain the gear that we use at Cross-Side Photography and just if you're looking into getting wedding photography, some of the gear that's necessary and some of the gear that will really help you get these great shots. So I'm going to put this gear into my camera bag as I normally do for setting up the day before, and I'll just walk you through the process. Alright, so I have my Think Tank bag as this is my camera bag. This is the Airport International version 2. Really like this bag. I've had like 3 or 4 different camera bags. Some didn't fit all my stuff. Some didn't feel like they protected my gear enough. This bag has been with me, I can say, around the world. With the international series, it's actually, you can take this on board with you on any international flight, and yet it's roomy enough on the inside to house all this gear that I have, and it's durable. When I went to Haiti, this thing took a beating, but my gear was just safe and sound on the inside. So I definitely, if you're looking into getting a good camera bag, the Think Tank Airport International version 2 is a great camera bag. So we start off with that. In wedding photography, your key to getting the job done well is you have backups. You can't, even though when I first started I just had I had a 30D and then I had one lens and that was it. And luckily nothing ever broke down or went wrong, but that's very, very risky to do, especially if anything does go wrong. So my recommendation is always have extra bodies, always have extra lenses, have extra batteries, have extra CF cards, and this is stuff that gives you that peace of mind, so when you're doing a shoot and X, Y, or Z happens, you know, you have your backup to go to. So what I first start off, I start off putting in the bag this is my backup camera. This is a Canon 30D. This is the first camera I've ever started out with, and it's a great camera. It takes great pictures. It isn't a full frame, so it does crop the images by 1.6. So yeah, it's different than the full frame cameras. So it is my backup camera, but it does get the job done. So that's the backup camera. Then my main camera that I use, this is the Canon 5D Mark III. I've used the 5D Classic, the 5D Mark II, and this was just released. And this is, I mean, hands down, best camera I've ever used. The shots that I'm getting from this, I can't describe it. The 5D Mark II is such a great camera, and it was a workhorse, and I've had it for 4 years, and it did everything. Never gave me any problems with it. And so how could you improve on something that to me was amazing? And Canon did it again, and just the 5D Mark III is really, really good. Attached to it this is my workhorse lens. This lens was the first L lens I've ever had, and like me, I go through lenses left and right. Oh, I like this lens, I'll buy it. I don't like it, I'll sell it. This is my first L lens, and I still have it 5 years later. This is the Canon 24-70 2.8. This is the version 1. I know that they're coming out with a version 2. But yeah, like the 24-70, I use this 90% of the time. I just can't take it off my camera lens. So usually this will go into my camera bag with the lens already attached. So I can pretty much just open up my camera bag, pull this out, and I'm ready to go right away. So I'll put that in there. The other lenses that I use, another one that's kind of like a flagship, or at least a lens that you should own. This is the 70-200 lens. With this, you do get that nice zoom reach. So especially if you're at a church where they say, oh, you can't go past this line, I whip out the 70 to 200, put it to 200, and I can really get a nice tight shot on that. This one is the 2.8L version 2, so the IS on this is a little bit better. This, when I do my portrait shoots, when I do my headshots, this is the lens that I have on my 5D Mark III. This lens has gotten some of the best shots that I've ever taken. Next is actually the newest lens to the my stable, and it's the Canon 14mm 2.8. This, people would say it's a fisheye lens, but it's actually not. It does a very good job at keeping the line straight while getting everything in the picture. So this is definitely good if you're either, say, in tight spaces, but you don't want to feel that, you don't want to feel too cramped, so you want to get all the shots. This definitely works out good, and especially if you're in a church that has a lot of architecture and you want to get the whole shot in rather than feeling like you're getting a crop shot. This is definitely an amazing lens. Well, after that, let's talk flashes. The flashes that I use are the Canon 580 EX2 flashes. And again, what we went back to, what we were first talking about, is you have a backup. So a flash is necessary to have for a wedding. It just is, especially when you get into the reception site, and if it's dark in there, you know, you either have options of bumping up the ISO, doing a slow shutter speed. With that, you just run the risk of getting images that aren't tack sharp. So I always have a flash on me, and it's good to have a backup. I've had 3 flashes up at one point, but usually I'll use 2 flashes, and sometimes at the same time. What I also have in my camera bag is they're called flash triggers, and so with this device goes on my 5D Mark III, and this device actually connects here to the flash. So what I can do is I could set this up somewhere, set my other flash up somewhere, and then this will trigger both flashes. So usually I'll set this up in a reception room, and then I can walk about without having a huge flash sticking up right from the camera. You get some really interesting shots doing it that way. So I put my flashes in here. I put my radio triggers in there. Something that is old school, but to me really necessary, is your light meter. Usually you see these in like old school photo shoots and in movies. What this does is this tells you the ambient light, which is basically the natural sunlight that will hit this. So say if I'm outside and I'm about ready to do a shoot, I'll hit this, and this I can program like, oh, I want to shoot at this shutter speed and at this f-stop, and this is the ISO I should have, or vice versa. I could put in the ISO in here, and I can put in the f-stop or the time, and then it will tell me what settings to have. It also has a feature where I can hit my radio flash, and it will read the flash meter on here, and it will say, okay, set your camera settings to this. So this is these are usually like 50% better than your inboard camera flash metering. Now, on the 5D Mark III, I must say, in its auto settings, it does a really good job at reading the light. Sometimes when I, in the past, say on the 30D, if I were to set it in automatic and I'd be shooting a bride's dress, it sees a lot of white and it says, oh my gosh, I don't want to wash anything out, so it really underexposes the bride. Whereas the new 5D Mark III, it's aware of the dress and it still makes a beautiful bright photo. But hands down, you have to have a light meter if you really want to get a correct reading. That goes in there. Also, my camera bag, I use filters. Filters are a good thing to put on your lens right off the bat. So that means that if anything goes to chip or scratch the lens front, you have a protector on it since day one, so really nothing can get in there. So usually I'll have UV filters, I'll have polarizer filters. A filter I just got, I think yesterday. This is from Lightcraft Workshop. And what's cool about this is a neutral density filter. And I don't know if you can see it from here, but what it does is, let's see, can you see that? I don't know how good the video is. Let me go in. So what that does is, if I'm outside and it's really, really sunny, I want to shoot at a low f-stop still. So with this neutral density filter, I achieve just that. I can make the filter darker, and then with that, I can then shoot, even if it's sunny outside, I can shoot at f3.2, f3.5, f4, and get a really nice depth of field in the background. So that I can't actually, I can't wait to try this out on tomorrow's wedding. And then lastly, the last thing, that once everything's in my camera bag, just zip this up right here. Lastly, I put in, and I usually leave this, it has a front little pouch thing, is a white balance card. Now, there is, whenever I used to shoot, I would just trust on the auto white balance of the camera. And you know, it's like, you're not gonna fool me. I love auto white balance on the camera. Canon's pretty smart at getting the colors I want. And I had a friend tell me, no, use a white balance card, use a white balance card. And this was actually given to me as a birthday gift, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. And ever since I started using it, the colors that you get from custom white balancing your images before the shoot, you'd never go back. I mean, you can see what auto white balance does, and then you see what a real white balance card when you custom white balance, and that is it's a night and day difference. So usually before any shoot, I'll just have a bride or groom hold it. I'll have them, I'll get the white balance reading from this, set it up on my camera, and then just get really, really good shots from that day. So that's pretty much it. Other than that, I mean, this case stores all my gear. It does have built-in locks if I wanted to lock this up to something, say in the reception hall. It does have wheels on the bottom, and then this does come up, so then when I want to walk with it, it's easy to carry around. It's just built up strong. Well, that is my camera bag and the gear I use. Tomorrow we're going to get some great shots, and I'll probably make a video from that too. But yeah, that's it. Oh, and one more thing. You can hit the like button or the subscribe button or the this button.